Sam Baker, I had to do it again.
Hello, Rick. Did we ruin that first one?
Yeah, he did. He did. But good evening.
Good evening.
When we go back to 2009, you were in Holland.
Yes, I was.
There we did an interview with you.
Yes, we did.
And there you told us that you would like to come to Belgium.
And what has happened?
Now you are here today in BREE, in the ZEEPZIEDERIJ. You know what it means?
No.
That's an old soap factory. They made a long time ago, I think, soap. Welcome.
It's a very, very beautiful place. We had a lovely dinner. We walked the streets. It seems what the things I noticed is the streets are beautifully maintained.
BREE is not a big city, but a nice city.
It's
and
a
like
nice
you say,
city.
well maintained.
Yeah, and you know the things, because I was in construction for so long, the people who did your construction were meticulous. They were very careful. The concrete was poured beautifully, and the streets seem to be beautifully made.
Okay. I must ask you, is this your first gig in Belgium?
It is.
Yeah. So I can't say, or I can't talk about a breakthrough, maybe.
You can talk about
A breakthrough.
You can talk about anything you want.
It's your first gig.
Yes.
It took 9 years.
It took 10 years.
Sorry, 10 years. Yes, you're right.
Over 10 years, almost 11 years.
Why are the people in Belgium not so interested in another kind of music and what?
No, it's not quite as simple. Nothing I do is quite as simple as I get a guitar and go someplace. It requires a fair amount of preparation.
Yeah.
And I've got Sandro Luciano with Lucky Dice who booked me in Holland, and I have booking in the United Kingdom. But I don't have booking really elsewhere in Belgium or Germany. So it's
to help you find places where you can do your gig.
Where people want this sort of music.
Yeah.
So it's, and also I come here with just one language, English, and your language here, I mean, you have Dutch, German, French, and English. So you're in 4 languages at least, and maybe more. So, you know, I have a very narrow, art form. I do English, but I use not just English. I use what's called vernacular English. I use an English that is really that is almost narrowed into a small place on the middle part of Texas. I use it's almost like Henry Higgins in My Fair Lady. You know, I use a subset language of a major language. So I come here where you speak so many languages, and I speak one of your subset languages, and I speak a subset of that language. So yeah, it really, I'm grateful and really a little shocked to be here.
Mr. Baker, you are what we call a singer-songwriter.
Correct.
A person that tells stories.
Correct.
An observer. You look at things and you try to tell people things.
I do. And a lot of
you
times,
make them think.
I don't know if I do. Look, on my good days, I do. I feel like my job is to take what I see.
Yeah.
And do you know who Mark Rothko is? He's a great painter. He did all that beautiful stuff. What Mark said he wanted to do was he wanted the people who see his painting to feel what he felt when he painted it.
I think.
Now, what I would like is for the person who hears my music to feel what I felt when I wrote it, or when I saw that, like when, you know, like on a song like Thursday, where the young woman gets in a car with 2 babies, and she's got all that stuff in the back, the baby stuff, and it's full of diapers and everything the baby needs. When I wrote that, ideally the person who hears that would see
you can
that
imagine what you have
and know somebody
Yeah.
know a young
Yeah.
woman who has two babies, who has the carriers in the back, and who is doing the best she can to sustain that little world of the two babies and her driving down the highway.
When did you pick up an instrument, or when did you knew that you wanted to become a musician?
I didn't want to become a musician.
You were not destined, no.
No, I was not destined at all. I played music right-handed for a long time as a young person, but it was so that I could play cover songs and be with my friends. I didn't have any real desire to be a musician. When I got in that middle of the war in South America where those people were killed, Rick, it was at that point that I had something I needed to say, and I didn't know how to say it. And so I kept writing like you do, long sentences and stuff, and that didn't say what I needed to say. And melody kept coming. It was actually the melody of the steel that major, 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 ride the major into that 6 minor, and then to the 3 minor and the 4. And once it did that, once I let myself get pulled in by melody, then language started making sense to me. That's when I became a writer, and that's when I became a musician. And I'm still not a musician. Now tonight I'm playing with Radoslav Lokovic, who's both from the U.S. and from Croatia, and he is a gifted musician. I'm a writer and a storyteller, and I use melody to give me an emotional context. Because there are times when I'll be in a major and I'll go into a minor because there's something I want to color with that phrasing. Like I'll do a song, the first song out, I'll say way down in the tunnel, and when I do that way down, I'll move into a minor.
Yeah. So you're talking about your own specific, typical style.
Correct.
I read somebody determines it as spoken word melodies.
Right, and I'm doing that, Rick, I'm doing that even more right now. We'll do a lot more spoken tonight, and really my next, we just finished a symphony. It was January 4 and 5. The first we did a symphony on the West Coast, and it is the most powerful thing I've ever been a part of. Saying that, the symphony is fabulous. I've got a play written, and I've got a spoken word record. Rick, it's timing. How much energy do you have to do these different things? Now, this is exquisite. We played Utrecht last night. We're here tonight, and it's dreamy. I get to see people. I get to see people and meet people in a way that not one person in 10 million gets to meet people. I get to talk to you as if we're family, as if we're not really strangers. We're past that stranger thing. And once we get into music tonight, then we're even closer. And that is the gift in that is, I don't even know how to describe that kind of gift.
That's the gift of a good songwriter.
It's the gift of community. It's the gift, and what music does is gives me community. It gives me my people, because somehow we resonate. I think music goes to our very core. I think it somehow reverberates on a cellular level and lets us connect one to each other in ways that we would not be able to without music. But poetry does that too. Poetry's trickier because poetry generally has to flow through a language, and music is like we talk. You're using at least 4 languages and maybe more. You're using 5 if we include music. Now, see, I use mostly English, but music is really the equal language. I use music here, but language, that's here, music is here, and that's what gives my music context. Once more, if you go from the major bang, 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 way down in the tunnel, and you hit that minor, that sixth minor, when you say way down, see, that's another language.
Yeah. Language for the heart. Language for your heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And really, that language, even if we don't understand the words, and I'm listening to Brahms because of Radislav. Radislav was teaching me about classical music, and when he plays, there's something that to me is outside of language.
Yeah, that's correct. In a few of your songs, I name Steel and Broken Fingers. You
Yes.
go back to an important situation in your life, 1986.
Yes, and I'm
You're,
doing that.
you're still over it, or that always stays in your
No,
head?
it's always. There's a line in Broken Fingers. Some things don't heal.
Yeah.
You know, when a child is killed, when a child is murdered, I don't believe that ever is made right. I don't believe it's ever made better. So, do I live with it? Yeah, I've gone through, and this is for anybody that knows post-traumatic stress. I have been in treatment for post-traumatic stress, and it's very helpful. Saying that, I am trying to do, actually, and I'll do it tonight, Snow, Steel, and Broken Fingers. And it's what I'm trying to say right now, and I quit doing all those songs for a while. I'm doing it right now because I think it's part of the reason I'm here in Belgium and in Holland and in the Netherlands and the Lowlands and Glasgow and in London, is to say, look, I'm a witness to murder. I've seen.
You have a message.
I have a message, and I don't think we can hurt other people and make our lives better. I don't think if we kill other people, our lives get better. Someone in an interview in Scotland, they said, though, what do you do about someone like a Hitler? And I think at some point violence is necessary, but in my world, Hitler could have been stopped in 1933, 1934, before it came to violence. I think there are always tools before we get into the need for violence. So in my tiny world, violence is absolutely a last resort, but it takes all of us standing up and saying, well, I believe that we as good try to prevail.
When you sing the songs, do they help also as a kind of liberation for you?
Oh, I don't know. I'm real careful with liberation, that word liberation. Let me tell you, when people, when a child dies here and his mother dies here and his father dies here, I can't say anything like the word liberation or gift or anything. It's the cost of what I know has come so high. Would I trade everything I know to have that not happen? Yes, I would, absolutely. Let those people live their life. They were from Tuttlingen, Germany. To let them live the life that where they could have grown older and the child could have had a family and stuff. Look, the price that we all paid for these songs is very, very high.
Let's tell something about your releases, your albums. I think that you brought out 5 studio albums.
Yes.
Yeah, and this one, that's your last. But
That's a live record.
album. Yeah. Is the live album a good summary of all of the songs that you must have heard? Or?
I don't know if it's a summary of songs, but it's just a summary of one night.
It's just a moment.
Just one night.
Yeah.
It means really the symbolism is so narrow in that it's the recording of one night and one show in Buffalo, New York, and it has no meaning outside of one tiny thing.
Yeah, just at that moment.
It was that moment.
Okay, your latest album, Land of Doubt. What are the songs about, or why did you choose that specific title?
Well, the last song is You know, in my country, we are struggling with who we are. And you know, that record came out prior, but in my travels, it was easy to see how unsettled everyone was, and people were afraid, and they were reaching really for anything to make them feel better. And we had begun to doubt, I think, who we were. I think we'd begun to doubt our internal goodness and our ability to take care of our children, our neighbors, and our elderly. Now, I think we'll get back to that at some point. But once again, Land of Doubt is a snapshot of a place in time.
Oh yeah.
And that last piece, the sunken city rises in this land of drought. The border is restless in this land of doubt. You know, so many of the old hatreds, the old antagonisms were resurfacing. Now, I believe in us, and I think we'll come back and reaffirm that we can be really good and really kind to each other. But I think that when that record was released, I think Land of Doubt was a very accurate title.
Okay. Still new plans for a new album in the future?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've got 3 white, there'll be 3 black.
Because I think that you're always thinking about songs, right?
Yeah, it's already
gathering
it's
ideas.
Mostly, yeah, it will probably be called Light, L-I-G-H-T, because the first 3 it was Mercy, Cotton, and Pretty World. The second will be Grace, Doubt, and Light.
Oh.
So that's it. But once again, I've got a symphony, I've got a play, I've got a one-man art show in Santa Fe. I'm a painter now, so really, it's energy. When do I do light, and how do I do it?
I think when you're
ready
for it, yes. You can't force it, I think.
You can't force it. No.
You just have an idea and you have time. You write or replace it.
Exactly. So that'll be 3 white as a trilogy,
yeah.
Which is the Pretty World trilogy, and then we'll have 3 black as a trilogy.
You said that you are a songwriter. We know that you are a painter. Mm-hmm. You do painting. More things outside music?
Well, the symphony is big. I mean, really, to have a symphony, I don't know if you know how big a symphony is. It is incredibly complex.
A lot of people.
It is astounding. Mark Steigner is the arranger out of, and he works with the Columbia Gorge Sinfonietta, and really, it is one of the most beautiful things I've ever been a part of. And it's scripted as a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it is incredibly beautiful. Great. I don't know what to say.
A few questions to end.
Oh yeah.
What was the best advice that somebody gave you ever?
Ellis Paul told me to do. I had terrible stage fright, and I would have let stage fright drive me away and never play again. And he said, play 100 shows. Don't get emotionally involved in it. Let 100 shows pass, and then see how you feel. Had I not done that, I would have quit.
Was that before or after your incident? No.
That was after. I didn't look. I started playing, really started playing, and started writing after the accident.
Yeah.
Steel was when I became a writer. You know, I had that melody came to me, and finally I got into that melody.
Yeah.
And then I had a line. The line said, "Sitting on the train to Machu Picchu." And like Hemingway said, that's the first true line.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second line came. That's what Hemingway said. If you get one true line, you can get a second true line.
Yeah.
And the second line was, the passenger car explodes. That was when I became a writer. That was all after. I had nothing I really, really cared about saying. And after that child was murdered, and his mother and father were killed, and really, I was dying. I had a cut artery. It blew my ears in and really scrambled my brain. So I didn't know nouns for a long time.
I'm sure about that, yeah.
And look, I went into the tunnel of light. I heard voices. I was living and dying, I went into these different dream states. It was only when I had come out of the dream states and was not in the process of dying. That's when I had something to say.
Yeah. Do you have any regrets?
Yeah, I have baskets full of regrets.
No, maybe you did. Okay. You gave me an answer, no problem. Okay. I have a double one to end, to really end. After, I think, 16 years, you've been a musician. Are you satisfied?
No artist
No.
is ever satisfied. What artist do you know that's ever satisfied? You know, there's this thing that you do. Paul Simon.
Did you succeed as a musician? Let me put it another way.
I don't even know what that means.
No, that's
Paul Simon says, and all my words come back to me in shades of
You still like to be a musician.
like emptiness and harmony. I need someone.
Yeah. But
No, I love playing. I love playing, and I love music. I think music is a great gift. Once again, it softens all of us. So I love it so much. A symphony is music. The play that I've written, the soundtrack is done. That's music. Painting is different.
yeah.
Arthur Miller, that great writer, he had a schedule where he would write in the morning, and he would paint in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that's a very good right-hand, left-hand thing. Because writing, I can get things inside my head, and they just turn and turn and turn. And if I paint, they don't turn.
No, then you're busy with colors, with light.
There's something light, color, and brush. I'm just now learning to let brush.
What kind of paintings do you? Persons or?
I do everything.
Everything.
Everything. I'm mixing abstraction with. Well, I tell you what happened in January of '09.
This is one of yours.
Yeah, that's a painting. But it came to me that I was supposed to paint. I mean, I'm guided by the voices, and I don't understand it. That's not how I was raised. I don't understand any of it. But saying that, the things I first started painting were scenes from when I was in the dream states of the dying. Mm-hmm. And that's where there was a series of dreams called Tower of Babel, the ancestors. It just went on. And so a lot of the paintings, this is from the ancestors. So really almost everything I painted started out from those dream states.
Okay, then my final question. What did you learn about yourself by being a musician? Yourself?
I am not that reflective. See, you're thinking I'm actually, or back to what you said originally, I'm an observer, but I'm also like a parakeet. I hear stuff and I repeat it. I'm not really that reflective. What have I learned about myself? I like butter that has garlic and chives in it. We had that tonight. I like beautiful grand pianos that we had last night. I like light that comes down.
Clean streets? The clean streets? You like it like...
I love well-made streets. I love concrete that's poured great. Do I know that about myself? I don't know. I don't know what I've learned about myself. I learned that it's a great gift to be playing with people like Radislav Lokovic, who is...
Hi. Okay. Let's finish this, Mr. Baker.
Yes.
I thank you for your time.
Rick, thank you for your time.
I thank you for your music and making the world a little bit more interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you a
I'm
lot.
hoping I make the world a little more kind. That's the tiniest. I'm hoping that a little bit of good radiates out, and kindness, and maybe a tiny bit of compassion.
Yeah.
If you hear the story about the little girl with the two babies, maybe you'll have compassion.
Thank you for your roots time.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot, man.
And Freddie, thank you.